Bahamas, 2021. A luxury penthouse overlooking the ocean. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Laptops scattered across the floor. A group of young people in t-shirts and shorts move billions of dollars with a few clicks. They don't look like bankers. They look like interns who never went home. At the center of it all is Sam Bankman-Fried. Barefoot, messy hair, oversized t-shirt. A billionaire who looks like he forgot to become an adult. He doesn't sound like Wall Street. He sounds like a distracted genius. And the financial world fell in love. Because FTX didn't just sell crypto. It sold trust. And that trust was built on an illusion. The Golden Boy. Sam Bankman-Fried didn't look like a financial titan. No tailored suits. No Rolex. No corner office aura. He looked harmless. Messy hair. Cargo shorts. A voice that sounded like he was apologizing for existing. Born to stand for professors, Sam was marketed as a prodigy. A math brain in a finance world. His first big idea wasn't revolutionary. It was arbitrage. Buy Bitcoin where it's cheap. Sell it where it's expensive. In 2017, Bitcoin traded higher in Japan than in the US. Sam spotted the gap and printed money. Millions turned into billions. Not by building products, not by changing the world, but by exploiting inefficiencies. The crypto gold rush rewarded speed, not stability. And Sam was very fast. Building the exchange. In 2019, Sam launched FTX, a crypto exchange designed for professionals. Leverage, derivatives, complex bets wrapped in sleek interfaces. It wasn't friendly. It was powerful, and traders loved it. Venture capital followed, terrified of missing the next big thing. Sequoia Capital, SoftBank, BlackRock. By 2021, FTX was valued at $32 billion. Sam became crypto royalty. Magazine profiles praised his ethical capitalism. Politicians listened. Celebrities endorsed. FTX wasn't just a company anymore. It was an institution. And institutions aren't supposed to vanish overnight. The altruism narrative. Sam wasn't just selling an exchange. He was selling a story. Effective altruism. Make as much money as possible, so you can give most of it away. He talked about saving the world, preventing pandemics, reducing existential risk. The message was simple. Trust me, I'm rich for a good reason. And people did. FTX branded itself as the adult in the room of crypto. Safe, regulated, transparent. Words the industry desperately wanted to believe. But behind the scenes, something was deeply wrong. Alameda Research. FTX had a sister company called Alameda Research. Officially, it was an independent trading firm, a market maker. In reality, it was the real engine of the empire. Alameda took massive risks. Leveraged bets, illiquid tokens, borrowed money stacked on borrowed money. And when those bets went bad, they didn't lose. They were rescued by FTX. Customer deposits, your money, were quietly funneled to Alameda to cover losses. No disclosure, no permission, no safeguards, just trust, the most expensive asset in finance. It was the oldest trick in finance. A bank gambling with depositors' money. Except this bank had no regulators, no capital requirements, no adult supervision. The token illusion. At the center of the illusion was a token called FTT, created by FTX itself. It didn't represent real profits or tangible assets. It represented confidence. FTX printed FTT out of thin air, then used it as collateral to borrow real money. Alameda listed FTT as a major asset on its balance sheet. It was like using poker chips as collateral for a bank loan. As long as the price stayed high, everything looked solid. Billions in assets. A sky-high valuation. But it was a castle built from its own imaginary currency. And castles like that have one fatal weakness. They don't survive doubt. Too smart to question. Sam cultivated a very specific image. The genius who didn't care about money, who slept on beanbags, who played video games during billion-dollar meetings. This wasn't an accident. It was a shield. Whenever someone questioned FTX's complexity, the message was implicit. You just don't understand. This is too sophisticated for you. Exactly like Enron. Exactly like 2008. Complexity as anesthesia. Investors stopped asking questions. Journalists softened their tone. Regulators fell behind. Because no one wanted to be the idiot who doubted the genius. Every illusion survives until someone looks at the balance sheet. The leak. November 2022. A document begins circulating. What broke the spell wasn't a market crash. It wasn't a tweet. It was a document. It showed something terrifying. Most of Alameda's assets were FTX's own token. The castle was suddenly visible, and it was hollow. Then came the spark. Changpeng Zhao, CEO of Binance, announced he would sell his FTT holdings. The market panicked. Customers rushed to withdraw their money, billions in hours. But the money wasn't there, because it had already been gambled away. The bank run. What followed was a classic bank run, crypto edition. Users desperately clicking withdraw. FTX buying time. Vague tweets. Promises. Silence. Assets are fine. They weren't. Withdrawals were frozen. The whole? Over $8 billion. For some users, this wasn't trading money. It was savings, college funds, years of work. And for many of them, the question of recovery is still unresolved. The collapse. FTX filed for bankruptcy. Sam resigned. And then came the most damning detail. The new CEO, a man who had cleaned up Enron, said that in 40 years dealing with fraud, he had never seen anything so poorly controlled. No reliable accounting. No internal controls. No basic separation of funds. It was a startup, handling the money of millions, and running it like a game. The lesson. FTX didn't fail because crypto is evil. It failed for a much older reason. Concentrated power without accountability always rots. It doesn't matter if the system runs on dollars, mortgages, or digital tokens. If one person controls everything, and no one checks anything, the ending is always the same. Sam Bankman-Fried didn't look like a villain. And that may be the most dangerous part. Because the biggest financial disasters rarely arrive screaming. They arrive smiling and asking for your trust. If you want more deep dives like this, watch what comes next, and like and subscribe.